Dear listeners, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Real Fear with us. To feel the real chill of fear, stay with us until the end. Whether you are listening from inside the country or abroad, from wherever you have joined today's episode, now or will join later, I extend my warm greetings and love to all of you. I hope everyone is doing well and staying healthy. Dear listeners, as always, we are back with another true and terrifying incident sent by one of you. This story is so dark, so mysterious, and so bone-chilling that while listening, you might feel your heartbeat quicken and a cold shiver run down your spine. Inshallah, this episode will give you the real taste of fear you are looking for. Please don't forget to hit the like button on this video and kindly share the video link as much as possible so that others who love listening to true horror stories can also reach this channel. Dear listeners, today's first story comes from someone we have received several incidents from before. His name is Muhammad Rafiqul Islam. He is an imam of a mosque in a small village in Nazirpur Upazila of Pirojpur district. Being an imam is not just a profession, it is a sacred responsibility. Along with his duties at the mosque, he is also actively involved in dawah and tabligh work. He travels to different places to deliver religious talks and waz mafils. The incident I am about to share happened about 10 years ago in a remote village in Subarnachar Upazila of Noakhali district. For obvious reasons, we will not reveal the real name of the person at the center of this story. We will call him Siraj Kabiraj. Siraj Kabiraj was a well-known exorcist and traditional healer in that area. He practiced Kabiraji, performed rituals to drive away evil spirits, and helped people troubled by jinn and black magic. Many difficult and seemingly impossible cases had been solved by him, which is why his fame had spread far and wide across villages. However, there was always debate about whether he also practiced black magic. Some said he only did good work, while others whispered that he had access to dark powers as well. One evening, an unknown man arrived at Siraj Kabiraj's house. The stranger looked visibly terrified. He had come all the way from Noakhali. With a trembling voice, he said, "Kabiraj Sahib, a very powerful and evil jinn has possessed someone in our village. Many exorcists and healers have tried, but no one could do anything. The patient is now on the verge of death. If you don't come, he will not survive." Siraj remained silent for a few moments, then replied calmly, "Give me the address and phone number. I will think about it. If I can come, I will let you know. If not, I will inform you." The stranger pleaded desperately, but Siraj did not agree to leave immediately. After the stranger left, Siraj went to sleep that night and had a deeply disturbing dream. In the dream, he saw a massive pitch-black figure. It had no clear face, no eyes, no nose, no mouth. It was like a living shadow made of pure darkness. The figure spoke in a heavy, menacing voice. "Beware, do not go there for this work. If you do, I declare your death sentence right now." Siraj woke up drenched in sweat. His heart was pounding, but after thinking for a while, he told himself, "These kinds of dreams often come when someone is about to interfere with the spirit world. I have faced such warnings before and still succeeded. Since it only came in a dream, it cannot be that powerful." Over the next few days, he finished his local work. Then he called the family in Noakhali and informed them, "I am coming. Keep a completely black goat ready. Also, find me a very isolated, dense forest area where even in daylight people are afraid to go." He packed all his tools, red threads, black cloth, special amulets, handwritten mantra books, and a very sharp knife. Then he began his journey. Strange things started happening even on the way. When he boarded the bus, no one sat beside him, yet he clearly felt someone whispering right next to his ear, "Go back, go back." He shook his head and ignored it. When he finally reached the village in Noakali, the family fell at his feet crying. They took him to a dark room where the possessed person was lying. The patient's body was twisting unnaturally, and he was screaming in a strange, unknown language. Siraj observed everything carefully and said, "I will perform the ritual at night. Show me the goat and the jungle location." The family told him about a dense forest near the riverbank in Subarnachar. It was a place so feared that even in daylight, locals avoided it. They said evil forces roamed there freely. Even when the moon was full, the forest felt unnaturally dark, as if the trees swallowed the light. Night fell. Siraj Kabiraj took the black goat and set off towards the forest. 2 men from the family accompanied him, but they stopped at a certain distance and refused to go further. They said nervously, "Kabiraj Sahib, we will wait here. You go alone." Siraj entered the dense jungle by himself, pulling the reluctant goat behind him. The forest felt alive. The leaves rustled with eerie sounds. In the distance, a jackal howled, but the cry sounded more like a woman weeping. Moonlight filtered through the gaps in the trees, creating moving shadows that seemed to watch him. The goat was extremely unwilling. It kept resisting, but strangely, it never made a single maa sound. It only trembled violently, as if it knew exactly what was about to happen. Siraj had to drag it forcefully deeper into the jungle. Finally, he reached a completely secluded clearing. He tied the goat tightly to the ground, made it lie down, and took out the sharp knife. The blade gleamed coldly under the moonlight. He began reciting powerful mantras in a low, steady voice. Then, with one swift, powerful stroke, he severed the goat's head from its body. Blood gushed out in streams. Normally, after slaughter, an animal twitches and struggles for some time, but this goat lay completely still, no movement at all. Siraj was about to pick up the head when suddenly the headless body began to move. At first, he thought it was just the usual post-slaughter reflex, but no, the body slowly rose. The front legs and hind legs moved, and the ropes that bound them slipped off effortlessly. Then the headless goat stood up completely, as if it were perfectly healthy. It shook its body violently, just like a dog or goat does to shake off dust. Because it had no head, air rushed through the windpipe, making a horrifying fuss, hissing sound like a snake. Siraj froze in terror. Before he could react, the headless creature suddenly bolted and disappeared into the pitch-black depths of the jungle. He stood there in shock, unable to understand what had just happened. He had performed this kind of ritual many times before, but nothing like this had ever occurred. Without telling anyone, he quickly picked up the goat's head and hurried back to where the 2 men were waiting. He did not mention what he had witnessed, but from that moment, his body began to feel strangely heavy and unwell. The main ritual did not bring any relief for the patient. In fact, the condition grew worse. Siraj realized deep down that he had failed, but he did not admit it to the family. He returned home quietly. A few days after returning to his village, severe pain started spreading throughout his body. It began mildly, then became unbearable. Then, one night, the same dream returned. The massive black shadowy figure appeared again and spoke with cold rage. "I warned you not to go. You did not listen. Now I will execute your death sentence, but you will not die quickly. You will suffer slowly. You will rot day by day." The figure grabbed him tightly and pressed hard against his chest. In his sleep, Siraj heard the sickening sound of his own ribs cracking, one by one. Crack, crack, crack.
The pain was excruciating even in the dream. When he woke up in the morning, he could not get out of bed. His entire body was paralyzed. His wife checked his bones, but nothing appeared broken from the outside. Doctors came, ran many tests, but could find no medical explanation for his condition. Slowly, day by day, Siraj Kabiraj began to waste away. He suffered terribly for 6 long months. His body became skeletal. The pain never left him. Before his death, he finally told his wife the entire story: the dream, the journey, the headless goat that stood up and ran away, and the second dream where the dark entity crushed him. He made her promise not to tell anyone until after his death. On the day he passed away, a few hours after his death, fresh blood started flowing continuously from his mouth and nose. It kept coming for a long time, even though his heart had already stopped. Siraj Kabiraj left behind 7 daughters. The youngest 2 were twins, only 2 or 3 years old at the time of his death. Today they have grown up, but the shadow of their father's mysterious and terrifying end still lingers over the family. Dear listeners, what do you think really happened that night in the jungle? Why did the...
Welcome back, dear listeners. Welcome to the second story of today's episode. The incident I am about to share with you was sent to us by a young man named Fahim. He is currently studying in the first year of honors. His home is in Putia Upazila of Rajshahi district. This terrifying event happened to Fahim himself in the year 2024. After finishing his SSC exams, he went to his grandmother's village to spend a few relaxing days. His grandmother's house is located in a remote, quiet village of Sherpur Upazila of Bogura district. For obvious reasons, he has requested us not to reveal the exact name of the village. When Fahim arrived at his grandmother's house, the entire neighborhood was overjoyed. His cousin Rafi and all his old village friends were thrilled to see him. The SSC exams were finally over, and he had a few free days ahead. Everyone wanted to celebrate. That afternoon, they played cricket in the open field. As the sun began to set, Rafi suddenly shouted to everyone, "Listen up! Tonight we're having a picnic. We will cook together, eat together, play loud music, and stay up all night telling stories. No one is going home." Everyone agreed immediately. They collected money from each person, bought meat, vegetables, spices, and everything needed. They decided to set up the picnic in an open area beside an old mango orchard on the edge of the village. From evening onwards, the cooking began. Someone brought 3 huge sound boxes from their house. Loud music filled the air. Laughter, singing, and cheerful chatter echoed through the quiet village. The night felt alive and full of joy. By 11 o'clock, the cooking was finally done. Everyone sat down together and enjoyed the delicious meal. After dinner, the real fun started. More music, jokes, and endless stories. The plan was to stay awake the entire night. But suddenly, Fahim began to feel a sharp throbbing headache. The loud music from the sound boxes, the cold winter breeze of the village, and his light clothes made him feel uncomfortable. The headache grew worse and worse until everything started to look dark in front of his eyes. He told his friends, "You guys keep enjoying. I'm not feeling well. My head is hurting badly and the cold is getting to me. I think I should go home and rest." Rafi immediately offered, "Wait, I'll walk you back." Fahim smiled and replied, "No, it's okay. It's only a 10 to 12-minute walk. I can go alone. You all continue the fun." He said goodbye to everyone, switched on the flashlight of his mobile phone, and started walking towards his grandmother's house. It was almost midnight.
The village roads were completely silent. Only the faint sound of distant dogs barking and dry leaves rustling could be heard. The narrow path was lined with old banyan trees and thick bushes on both sides. The moonlight was very weak. Fahim's flashlight cast long, moving shadows on the ground. He walked carefully, trying to ignore the growing uneasiness in his chest. Suddenly, he thought he saw someone quickly crossing the road just a few meters ahead and hiding behind a large old banyan tree. The figure looked tall and human-like. Fahim's heart skipped a beat. He thought it must be a thief. He shouted loudly, "Who is there? Who just hid behind the tree?" There was no answer. He was carrying a stick with him, something he always took at night in case wild dogs or foxes attacked. In anger and fear, he broke the stick into several pieces and threw them forcefully towards the banyan tree. "Come out, you thief! Come out right now!" he yelled. He waited for some time, but nothing moved. Then, gathering courage, he slowly walked towards the tree with his flashlight on. He checked behind the tree, around it, and in the nearby bushes. There was absolutely no one. The place was empty. He breathed a sigh of relief and thought he must have run away. Fahim turned and started walking again. But barely 1 or 2 minutes later, he clearly heard footsteps behind him. Someone was walking at the same pace, matching his steps. The sound was unmistakable. He stopped and spun around quickly, shining the flashlight behind him. No one was there. The road was completely deserted. At that moment, a cold shiver ran down his spine. All the hair on his body stood up. Fear began to grip his heart. He started walking faster. His breathing became heavy. Then, without any warning, he felt hot breath on the back of his neck, heavy, warm and foul-smelling, as if someone was standing right behind him, breathing down his neck. Before he could react, a deep, thick, terrifying voice boomed from behind, echoing in the darkness. "Tonight, you will not survive. How dare you? You threw stones at me. You insulted me." Fahim's entire body trembled with terror. With all the courage he could gather, he turned around. In the dim light of his phone's flashlight, he saw a massive, unnaturally tall shadow standing just a few feet away. It had the shape of a man, but its face was blurred and unclear. He could not make out any nose, mouth, or eyes, only 2 faint glowing red points where the eyes should be. The figure slowly moved towards him. Fahim screamed "Allahu Akbar" at the top of his lungs and started running desperately towards the house. He could hear heavy footsteps chasing him behind, fast and relentless. Suddenly, something hard struck his back with tremendous force, as if he had been hit by an iron rod. The pain was unbearable. His vision went black. He stumbled and fell heavily onto the ground. Everything went silent. He lost consciousness. When Fahim regained his senses, the sound of the morning azan for Fajr prayer was filling the air. He found himself lying in the exact same spot where he had fallen. His phone was lying nearby. One side of his body felt completely numb and paralyzed. He could not move his left arm or leg at all. With great difficulty, he stood up and slowly made his way home. When he reached the house, his grandmother was performing ablution for the Fajr prayer. She looked surprised and asked, "Fahim, you came back? Where is Rafi?" Fahim did not say a single word. He just walked straight into the room and collapsed onto the bed. Morning turned into afternoon. Everyone in the house kept calling him, but he did not wake up. Rafi said, "Why is Fahim sleeping so much? He left around midnight. He didn't even stay up late with us." His grandmother was shocked. She said, "What do you mean, midnight? I saw him entering the house when I was doing ablution for the Fajr prayer. So where was he all this time?" Everyone became extremely worried. They rushed to his room and kept calling his name loudly until he finally woke up. When Fahim opened his eyes, he felt that one side of his entire body was still paralyzed. With a weak and trembling voice, he told them the whole terrifying story, from the moment he left the picnic until he fell unconscious. His grandmother started crying loudly and told his grandfather, "Quickly, bring a pious scholar. Something very serious has happened to our grandson." His grandfather immediately went to the nearby madrasa and brought a respected huzur. The huzur listened to the entire story very carefully. After thinking for a while, he said, "I need more time to understand the full situation. I will come back after praying Isha, then we can begin the treatment, inshallah." That night, after Isha prayer, the huzur returned. With a serious expression, he said, "Your grandson is extremely lucky to be alive. When Fahim was walking on that road, a good-natured jinn was passing through the same path in its true form. This jinn usually never shows itself to humans. To avoid scaring Fahim, it quickly moved behind the banyan tree. But Fahim mistook it for a thief. He shouted insults and threw pieces of the stick at it. This hurt the jinn's dignity and made it extremely angry. The jinn followed him with the intention of killing him. The blow was meant to hit his head. If it had struck the head, his brain would have been damaged instantly and he would never have regained consciousness. By the grace of Allah, the blow landed on his back instead. That is why only one side of his body became paralyzed. The sound of the Fajr azan brought back his consciousness. Now treatment can begin. The huzur continued, "The jinn contacted me. It has promised not to harm Fahim anymore. However, because of the heavy insults, Fahim must give some charity, 10 packets of sweets. Tonight, at exactly 12 o'clock, he must go alone to the same banyan tree, place the sweets behind it, and return without looking back." Fahim gathered all his courage. That same night, at 12 o'clock, he took 10 packets of sweets and went to the spot. He placed the sweets carefully behind the tree and turned to leave. Suddenly,
Dear listeners, welcome back to our chilling horror series. Tonight, we present the third terrifying tale in our collection. My dear friends, I warmly welcome all of you to the third episode of our journey into the unknown. The horrifying story I am about to share with you was sent to us by Rahim Uddin from Birganj in Dinazpur district. He collected this account from his elder sister Fatima's sister-in-law, Ayesha. At the center of this nightmare was Ayesha's newborn baby boy, Rayyan, a tiny, innocent soul who was only 5 days old when the unspeakable happened. The incident took place in the last week of December 2024 in the quiet village of Kashimpur under Birganj Upazila. At that time, the Union Council election campaign was in full swing. The entire village echoed with loudspeakers, posters covered the walls, and candidates' workers roamed day and night canvassing for votes. Ayesha's husband, Kamrul, was an active campaign worker for one of the candidates. He owned an old motorcycle and would spend the entire day riding through the village, only returning home late at night. It was a cold, foggy December evening. A thin mist hung in the air, and the winter wind carried an eerie chill. The fields and roads of Kashimpur lay silent under the pale moonlight. Only the occasional distant barking of dogs and the rustling of dry leaves broke the heavy silence. That night,
Kamrul and Sohel were returning home after a long day of campaigning. Usually they took the main road, but because of some construction work, they had to take a narrower, less traveled path. This route passed over an old weathered culvert that the villagers secretly called the Ghost's Culvert. Kamrul and Sohel had no idea about its dark reputation. The time was around 9:30 at night. The motorcycle's headlight cut through the thick fog like a blade. Suddenly, from a distance, they spotted something on top of the culvert, a wooden funeral bier, and on that bier lay a body wrapped in a pure white shroud. The headlight clearly illuminated the scene. The body appeared to be that of a man, approximately 5 feet 6 inches tall, with a dry, shriveled form. The white cloth fluttered slightly in the cold breeze. There was no smell, no sound, just an unnatural, oppressive stillness. Kamrul did not stop the bike. He and Sohel exchanged a quick glance. Without saying a word, they decided to move closer. The motorcycle slowly climbed onto the culvert. Under the harsh beam of the headlight, the corpse looked perfectly ordinary, yet deeply disturbing. No one else was around. No mourners, no family members, no sound of crying or chanting, nothing, as if the entire area had been swallowed by silence. They felt no immediate fear. Kamrul said calmly, "Let's go ahead. There's a tea stall nearby. We'll ask the shopkeeper what's going on. How can someone leave a dead body here like this?" They rode forward and stopped at the small tea stall. The elderly shopkeeper, Abdul Malek, was still sitting there, preparing to close for the night. Kamrul approached him and said, "Brother, we just saw a corpse on a bier on the culvert. There's no one around. Shall we go and do something about it?" The old man's face turned deathly pale. His hands began to tremble. In a shaky voice, he asked, "What did you say? You saw a dead body on the culvert?" Kamrul replied, "Yes, both of us saw it clearly, a wooden bier with a body wrapped in a white shroud." The shopkeeper stood up abruptly, his voice filled with terror. "Brother, leave this place immediately. Do not waste even one more second here. You have been saved by the mercy of Allah. That culvert is the dwelling place of extremely dangerous pisach, malevolent spirits. They often appear in the form of corpses to lure people and trap them in horror. Many who stopped there never returned home alive. You did not feel afraid and kept moving. That is your good fortune. Now go straight home without delay." Hearing these words, a cold shiver ran down Kamrul and Sohel's spines. Without another word, they started the motorcycle and rushed toward home. When Kamrul reached his house, he was exhausted from the whole day's work. He did not wash his hands or face. He did not freshen up. He simply walked straight into the bedroom and lay down. Ayesha was sitting in the delivery room, gently holding their 5-day-old son, Ryan. The baby was sleeping peacefully, his tiny face glowing under the soft light of the room. But an unnatural, icy presence seemed to enter the house along with Kamrul. From that very night, the nightmare began. On the first night, little Ryan cried a little, but nothing unusual. The real horror started the next day. By afternoon, the baby began having sudden convulsions. His small body twisted and writhed violently, like a snake being struck. His eyes rolled upward until only the whites were visible. Ayesha screamed in panic and woke Kamrul. Kamrul rushed over and saw his son's tiny body contorting in an unnatural way. Without wasting a moment, he brought out the motorcycle. The tank still had enough fuel. He took Ryan in his arms and asked another male relative to accompany him. They left for the hospital immediately. Because it was late at night, Ayesha was not taken along. They had to take the same road again, the road that passed over that cursed culvert. As soon as the motorcycle reached the culvert, the engine suddenly died. There was still fuel in the tank, but the bike refused to move. The night felt heavier. The fog seemed thicker. A faint whispering sound floated in the cold air. Kamrul's skin crawled with fear. He remembered the shopkeeper's warning. "We cannot stop here," he said urgently. "Sohel, you hold the baby. I will push the bike down the culvert." They somehow managed to push the motorcycle to the lower side of the culvert. Once they were off the bridge, Kamrul tried starting the bike again, and this time it started without any problem. But by then, little Ryan had become completely still in Sohel's arms. His breathing had stopped. They reached the hospital as fast as they could. The doctors examined the baby immediately, but it was already too late. Ryan was gone. There were no signs of any disease, no injury, no medical explanation. A beautiful, healthy 5-day-old baby boy had died for no apparent reason. They brought the tiny body back home. The entire village was plunged in mourning. Ayesha was inconsolable. The innocent child was given a proper burial the next day. But the story did not end there. A few days later, the family called a well-known and respected huzur, an Islamic scholar, who was known for dealing with spiritual matters. The huzur came to the house and spent a long time walking around the premises, reciting verses and observing everything carefully. The next day he returned and revealed the shocking truth. He said, "What you saw on the culvert that night was not a human corpse. It was a trap set by a powerful pisach, a malevolent spirit. Because you did not show fear and continued on your way, the spirit became furious. When Kamrul entered the house without washing his hands and face, without performing ablution, that evil entity followed him inside." He continued, "When I summoned the spirits, a terrifying revelation came out. This house was actually protected by 2 guardian jinn for many years. They had been silently watching over the family, shielding them from harm. But on that fateful night, one of the guardian jinn received news that his own child had been kidnapped. Both guardians rushed away to rescue the child, leaving the house temporarily unprotected. However, the huzur explained, it was all a carefully planned trap. The kidnapping was staged by 2 evil pisach who had been waiting for this exact moment. These 2 malevolent beings had been watching baby Ryan ever since he was in his mother's womb. They even lingered near the hospital room where Ayesha and the baby stayed. When the guardian jinn left the house, the 2 evil spirits entered immediately. They worked together and took the innocent soul of little Ryan. The family was stunned into silence as they heard these chilling details. Dear listeners, this tragic and horrifying incident carries an important lesson for all of us. Whenever we return home from the outside, especially from dark places, fields, graveyards, or lonely roads, we must wash our hands and face properly. If possible, we should perform wudu, ablution, and if we feel we have been to unclean or haunted areas, we should take a full bath. This is especially crucial when there is a newborn baby in the house, because during the first few days after birth, the delivery room is most vulnerable to negative spiritual forces. By staying clean and remembering Allah, we protect ourselves not only from physical germs, but all.
Dear listeners, welcome back to another chilling episode of Thursday Night Terror Stories. Tonight, we're diving into our 4th tale of the evening. I want to welcome all of you once again to the 4th story of this episode. The true account I'm about to share with you was sent in by our listener, Mr. Michael Brooks. He's from the small rural town of Willow Creek, located in the heart of the Mississippi Delta region of the United States. This particular incident happened to Michael's father. We actually featured one terrifying true event involving his dad in our 182nd episode a while back. In the spirit of that story, Michael kindly sent us this second bone-chilling experience from his father's life. The year was 1995. Michael's father couldn't remember the exact month, but it was sometime in the mid-90s. Back then, folks in rural areas didn't always keep track of dates the way we do now. His father's name was Nathan Brooks. From a very young age, Nathan had been working the land. He drove mule carts, tended crops, fished in the nearby river. You name it, he was skilled at it. But Nathan had one stubborn habit since childhood. He loved smoking hand-rolled cigarettes. He always kept a pack tucked in his belt, along with a small box of matches. Their family home sat right beside a narrow, winding river known locally as Black Creek. Across the creek stretched vast open fields where tobacco was grown in those days. The tobacco plants grew tall and thick, sometimes reaching well over a man's head. One afternoon, Nathan headed out to their vegetable patch to finish some work. He was completely absorbed in his tasks. Not too far away, an elderly neighbor named Mr. Harlan Whitaker was also working in his own field. Everyone in the area called the old man Uncle Harlan, and Nathan addressed him the same way. While Nathan was busy, Uncle Harlan walked over and said, "Nathan, son, when you finish up, could you come help me lift this big bundle of grass onto my shoulder? I'd sure appreciate it." Nathan nodded without looking up. "Sure thing, Uncle Harlan. I'll come over in a little while. You go on ahead." The old man returned to his patch. Nathan went back to work, losing all track of time. The sun slowly sank lower. The sky turned from bright blue to fiery orange, then deep purple, and finally pitch black. In the distance, the evening church bells rang out, signaling that night had fully arrived. Nathan still had a bit of work left. He thought to himself, "Just 10 more minutes and I'll be done. Then I'll help Uncle Harlan with his bundle, and the two of us can walk back home together." 10 minutes passed. He finished his chores and stood up, wiping the sweat from his brow. By now, complete darkness had settled over the fields. The tall tobacco plants swayed gently in the night breeze, their leaves rustling like whispers. The air felt heavy and unnaturally still. Nathan cupped his hands around his mouth and called out loudly, "Uncle Harlan, you still out here? Which way are you?" Almost immediately, a familiar voice answered from the darkness. "Over here, Nathan. Come this way, son. This direction." The voice sounded exactly like Uncle Harlan's. Nathan started walking toward the sound, pushing through the tall tobacco rows. When he reached the spot, however, there was no one there. The field was empty. He called again, a little louder. "Uncle Harlan, where are you?" This time the reply came from a different direction, a little farther away. "I'm right over here, Nathan. Come on, boy, come this way." Nathan kept following the voice, but every time he reached the spot, the field was deserted. The calls continued, each time pulling him deeper into the fields, farther from the path home. The tobacco plants grew denser, their rustling grew louder, almost like faint laughter carried on the wind. After several minutes of this, Nathan shouted once more, frustration mixing with growing unease. "Uncle Harlan, I can't see you. Where exactly are you?" The voice answered from the edge of a thick bamboo thicket at the far end of the fields. The tone had changed slightly. It sounded a little too eager, almost playful, in a way that made Nathan's skin crawl. "I can see you, Nathan. Just a little closer. Come into the bamboo grove. I'm waiting right here inside." That was the moment something clicked in Nathan's mind. A cold wave of realization hit him like ice water. Why would Uncle Harlan carry that heavy bundle of grass all the way out here to the bamboo thicket? He had asked Nathan to help lift it onto his shoulder back at his own field. And if Nathan was taking too long, why didn't the old man just call out earlier?
something was very wrong. His heart began hammering in his chest. His hands turned cold and clammy. He suddenly understood this was not Uncle Harlan. This was something else, something dark and ancient that lived in these fields, a spirit that mimicked voices to lure lonely travelers deeper into the night, never to return. Without wasting another second, Nathan pulled the pack of cigarettes from his belt with trembling fingers. He lit one, took a deep, steadying drag, and blew the smoke out slowly. Then he turned around and began walking back the way he had come, first at a brisk pace, then faster, almost running. Behind him, the voice kept calling, growing more insistent. "Nathan, where are you going? Come back this way." He didn't look back. He crossed his own vegetable patch, reached the riverbank, and waded across the shallow black creek. Once on the other side, he entered the old apple orchard that bordered their property. Just as he stepped among the apple trees, a horrible, rasping laugh echoed from behind him, no longer sounding human at all. "You got lucky tonight, Nathan. You got lucky. If you had stepped even 1 foot inside that bamboo grove, you would have seen what I had planned for you." The voice was now a guttural snarl, twisted and full of malice. Nathan realized the entity's power ended at the edge of the apple orchard. It could not follow him any farther. He kept walking, faster and faster, until he burst through the front door of his house, breathing hard. His wife took one look at his pale face and knew something was terribly wrong. He told her everything, every detail of the voices, the endless calling, the bamboo thicket, and that final unearthly laugh. She immediately made him take a hot bath and change clothes. Then she called for his father-in-law, who performed a blessing and protective prayers over him. Thankfully, nothing else happened that night. Nathan suffered no fever, no illness, but he was furious with Uncle Harlan. The next morning, he marched over to the old man's house. He found Mr. Harlan sitting on his porch under the dim light of a kerosene lamp, calmly cutting grass into small pieces for his livestock. Nathan couldn't hold back. "Uncle Harlan, how could you do that to me? You left without saying a word. I was worried about you. I kept searching and searching in the dark because you asked for my help." The old man looked up with genuine surprise and regret. "I'm real sorry, son. I thought you were busy with your own work. I figured I could manage the bundle by myself and didn't want to trouble you. I never meant for any of this to happen. I had no idea you'd still be out there after dark." Nathan eventually calmed down after venting his frustration. That night passed without further incident. Dear listeners, stories like this, voices calling from empty fields at night, may sound like simple country folklore to some, but for the person living through it, the terror is very real. If Nathan had taken just a few more steps into that dense bamboo grove, who knows what horrible fate would have awaited him. He was protected that night. Something or someone put that sudden clear thought in his mind at the exact right moment. He didn't fall into the trap. He escaped. After that terrifying experience, Nathan Brooks never stayed out in the fields after sunset again. We want to thank Michael Brooks for bravely sharing his father's true story with us. These kinds of accounts remind us that some things in the rural back roads and forgotten fields of America still walk in the shadows. If you have your own true terrifying experience from the backwoods, small towns, or lonely roads, please send it in. We might just feature your story on a future episode.
Dear listeners, welcome back to another spine-chilling episode of our Nighttime Tales. Tonight, we're diving deep into the 5th story of the series, a true account that will make you think twice before stepping out alone after dark. This one comes to us from a man named Ethan Harper. Ethan's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, but the nightmare he's about to share happened at his grandfather's old cabin out in the remote bayou country near a little place locals call Cypress Hollow. That's where the story unfolds, right beside the dark, still waters of Black Cypress Bayou. Picture it, folks. It was the middle of a sweltering Louisiana summer. Ethan, just 20 years old at the time, had driven down for a week of vacation at Grandpa's place. His two cousins, Tyler and Mason, were already there. The three of them spent their days playing ball in the dusty yard, fishing the shallow creeks by day, and swapping stories on the screened porch after sunset. Life felt simple, slow, and safe, until that one humid evening at the little bait shop down the road. They were sitting on the wooden benches, sipping sweet tea, when the talk turned to the bayou. Everyone knew Black Cypress Bayou was full of fish, but most folks stayed clear after sundown. Old-timers whispered that the water sometimes moved when it shouldn't, and that the far shore, near the ruins of an abandoned old chapel, carried a bad feeling. Ethan just laughed. He'd been gigging fish with a spear since he was a kid back home on the river. "I'll outfish both of you combined," he boasted with a grin. "One night, one gig, and I'll fill more bags than you two can carry." The challenge was on. They agreed, midnight run. Whoever brought back the most fish won bragging rights. After supper and a few more tall tales, the clock hit 1 in the morning. The three of them stepped out into the thick night air, each carrying a heavy flashlight and a gigging spear. Ethan had tied 2 old canvas market bags to his belt with a sturdy bandana, threading the handles through the cloth and knotting it tight against his waist so the bags wouldn't slip no matter what. Tyler and Mason did the same. The beam of their flashlights cut through the mist as they reached the water's edge. The bayou was dead quiet, except for the constant chorus of frogs and the occasional splash of something unseen. Ethan felt a strange chill run down his spine, but he shook it off. "Let's spread out a little," he called. "More ground, more fish." They started together, but slowly Ethan drifted farther down the shoreline. He told himself it was strategy. The cousins' voices grew fainter as he moved deeper into the cypress trees. The fog thickened. Every now and then, a cold breeze brushed the back of his neck, like someone was standing right behind him. He spun around and swept the flashlight across the darkness. Nothing, just the twisted trunks of ancient cypress and the faint outline of the old chapel ruins on the far bank, half sunk in vines and shadow. He kept going. Then, in the shallows, a massive garfish appeared, gliding slowly, almost lazily. Ethan raised his gig, aimed, and struck hard. The fish thrashed wildly as he pulled it in. He reached for the bag at his waist to drop it inside, and his hand met empty air. Both bags were gone. The bandana was still knotted tight around his waist, the knots untouched, but the canvas bags themselves had been ripped clean away, handles torn as if yanked with impossible force. No sound, no struggle. He hadn't felt a thing. His heart slammed against his ribs. "This can't be real," he whispered. He shouted for his cousins. "Tyler! Mason! Over here!" Their distant voices answered, but they sounded miles away. Panic rising, Ethan started back toward them. That's when his flashlight caught something on a small patch of dry ground near the water's edge. One of his own bags, lying there, swollen and heavy. He ran to it. The bag that had been empty was still empty, but the other one, the one that had been full of fish, was right there, bulging. With shaking hands, he opened it and shined a light inside. Every single fish he had caught that night had its head torn clean off. Just the bodies remained, perfectly intact, no blood, no struggle marks, as if something with razor-sharp teeth had bitten each head off and left the rest like a cruel joke. Ethan nearly dropped the flashlight. He yanked the big gar off his gig, tossed it into the bag anyway, and bolted toward his cousins.
When he reached them, he didn't say a word about what he seen. "I'm not feeling right, guys," he muttered. "You two keep going. I'm heading back to the cabin." They teased him about quitting the challenge, but Ethan forced a weak laugh. "Y'all win. My body just shut down on me." He walked home alone through the dark, every step feeling watched. Back at the cabin, he cleaned the fish in silence, wrapped the bodies in plastic, and shoved them deep into the old fridge. Then he crawled into bed. Sleep wouldn't come. Every time he closed his eyes, he felt cold breath on his neck. The next morning, Ethan couldn't even stand up. His body burned with fever, 103 degrees and climbing. Still, he kept quiet about the bayou. He didn't want Grandpa worrying or sending him straight back to Baton Rouge. Around noon, the family decided to cook a big pot of stew. They needed fish. Ethan offered to get the ones he had caught the night before. He opened the fridge. The plastic bags were empty. Not a single fish left, just a faint, sickly sweet smell hanging in the cold air. His fever spiked higher. Back to the doctor, more medicine, nothing helped. That night, shaken and sweating, Ethan finally broke down and told the whole story. The family listened in stunned silence. The next morning, they drove him to see Reverend Elijah, an old preacher who lived at the edge of Cypress Hollow and knew things most folks didn't talk about. The Reverend listened without interrupting. When Ethan finished, the old man's face grew grave. He placed his hands on Ethan's head and prayed a long, powerful prayer. Then he pressed a small cloth pouch into Ethan's palm. "Keep this with you at all times. Never let it touch the ground. You can set it aside when you bathe or use the restroom, but always keep it high. Sleep with it under your pillow. Carry it in your pocket during the day. Even if it dries out, never throw it away." Reverend Elijah looked him straight in the eye. "Son, you were spared by the grace of God. That flashlight in your hand was metal. Your gig had a metal tip. Those things kept the worst from touching you. But whatever moves through that bayou took those fish. It fed on them. If you ever bring something home that feels off, say a blessing over it and spit on it lightly. That breaks their claim. You didn't know. They took what they wanted." Ethan followed every instruction. Slowly, the fever broke. The nightmares faded. He never went gigging alone at night again, and he never wandered near the far shore of Black Cypress Bayou. Dear listeners, there's a lesson in Ethan's story that hits close to home for anyone who loves the outdoors here in the South. When the sun goes down and the bayou gets quiet, stay together. Don't stray too far. And if something feels off, listen to that feeling. Some waters hold secrets we're not meant to disturb. We want to thank Ethan Harper for trusting us with his story. We hope more of you out there keep sending in your own true encounters. Until next time, stay safe out there after dark. Lock your doors, and remember, not everything that swims in the dark is just a fish.
Dear listeners, let's head straight into our sixth and final story of this season. Dear listeners, we have now reached the very last tale of this episode. If these stories have given you chills, drop a comment below and let me know what you thought. Don't forget to smash that like button and share the video with your friends. It really helps the channel grow. All right, let's begin. This terrifying account was sent to us by our listener Earl Thompson from a small town in rural Louisiana. Earl told us he heard the story from his childhood buddy Tommy, who grew up right there in the same bayou country. What you're about to hear is a true local nightmare that happened in their hometown of Crawford Bayou, right outside the quiet little community of Miller's Landing. The place where it all went wrong is still known to locals as Hank's Hollow, an old abandoned fisherman's shack and the land around it, sitting way back in the swamp near Bayou Noir. Here's how the name came about. The man who once owned that land was a hard-luck fisherman everyone called Old Hank. His real name was Henry LeBlanc, but folks just shortened it to Hank. He was dirt poor, barely scraping by with a wife and 4 or 5 kids. Tommy couldn't remember the exact number, so Earl couldn't say for sure either. The event started around 1985-86, long after the war, but life out in those bayous was still rough. No fancy roads, no cell phones, just water, mosquitoes, and hard work. Tommy was in 5th grade when he first heard the story. Today, he's a grown man with a steady job, but he still gets goosebumps talking about it. Old Hank and his family lived in a lonely spot, far from the nearest neighbors. A short distance away flowed the dark waters of Bayou Noir, where Hank and the other local fishermen made their living. Every day, Hank would take his little boat out with his throw net, sometimes alone, sometimes with a couple of buddies. They fished day and night, whatever it took to feed the family. Life was pure struggle. Some days they ate, some days they didn't. Then, one day, Hank's oldest boy, his name was Randy, about 15 or 16 at the time, decided he'd had enough. He told his dad he was heading to New Orleans to find work. Hank looked at his hungry kids and said, "Son, I can't feed all of you anymore. Go on and see what you can make of yourself." He gave Randy a little money and some rice, and the boy left for the city to drive a taxi. Back home, Hank kept fishing. Morning nets, afternoon sales at the fish market, then back out at night with the throw net. He'd bring the catch home, hand it to his wife, and head out again. Money was tight, but the family still had love. Until the trouble started.
It was after the big rains, when the bayou water had dropped a little. That's when the other fishermen began to notice something strange about Old Hank. While everyone fished together in the usual spots, Hank started slipping off alone into the thickest, darkest parts of the bayou where no one could see him. Sometimes his boat would just disappear, gone for hours, then suddenly reappear with Hank hauling in fish like never before. One man catching as many as 4 or 5 fishermen combined. Even weirder, the guys started seeing Hank sitting in his boat, eating the fish raw, tearing into them with his teeth like an animal, blood and scales all over his face, not caring who was watching. When they finally asked him about it, Hank looked shocked and said, "Me? Eat raw fish? No way! What kind of man does that?" But it kept happening, and it got worse. One evening, Hank came home with a huge catch, ignored his wife completely, and started devouring the fish raw right there in the yard. When she tried to stop him, he beat her badly. The kids watched in horror. Their gentle, loving father had turned into a monster. They were terrified to go near him. That night, Hank passed out. The next morning, he woke up, saw his wife crying in the corner, and asked, "Honey, why are you crying? What happened?" She showed him the bruises and told him everything. Hank was stunned. "I did that? No, I couldn't have." But the marks on her body proved it. His wife whispered, "You've been fishing those dark waters at night. Something evil must have set its eyes on you. I'm bringing the preacher." The local preacher was no big-time exorcist, just a simple man who gave out blessed water, prayer cards, and small charms. He tied a charm around Hank's wrist and said, "In the name of the Lord, you'll be fine." For 2 or 3 days, everything seemed normal. Then on the 4th day, Hank started eating raw fish again and beat his wife when she tried to stop him. They called the preacher back. He explained the charm had gotten dirty from the bayou water and fish scales, so its power was gone. He gave Hank a new one and warned him to stay clean. But Hank was a fisherman. He had to go back out or his family would starve.
So he went anyway. That evening, he came home, tore into the raw fish again, and when his wife tried to cook some for the kids, he grabbed a stick and beat her mercilessly. Neighbors heard the screams, rushed over and tied Hank to a big oak tree with heavy rope. He fought like a wild animal until he finally passed out. When he woke up that afternoon, he looked around confused and asked his son Randy, who had rushed back from New Orleans, "Boy, when did you get here? Why am I tied up? Cut me loose." Randy untied him. Hank immediately said, "Come on, son, we need to go fishing. Your little brother's too young. He'll catch cold. You coming with me." They went out on the bayou. As the sun set, Hank told Randy to keep fishing while he took the catch to sail. Later that night, out on the dark water, Hank started devouring fish raw again with savage hunger. When Randy asked why, Hank turned on him with pure rage, shoved him hard, and knocked him 10 feet into the black water. Luckily, Randy could swim. He climbed back into the boat and yelled for the other fishermen. They pulled up and asked Hank, "What the hell, man? You almost killed your own boy." Hank ignored them completely and kept chewing raw fish like a starving beast. The men dragged him home and tied him to the tree again. That's when everyone agreed this was no ordinary sickness. They needed a real root doctor, a powerful hoodoo man from deeper in the swamps. The root doctor arrived and said, "I see it clear. This man is possessed by a bayou demon, a flesh eater that craves both fish and human meat." He brought a young man born under a special sign and began his ritual. Suddenly, the spirit jumped from Hank into the young man and spoke in a terrifying voice. "Why did you call me?" The root doctor demanded, "Why have you taken this poor man?" The demon laughed and answered, "I live in Bayou Noir. I watched him for years. The other fishermen leave at dark, but he stayed out late, alone. I can't catch much fish by myself, but inside him I can. He pulls in the fish. I eat my fill. I'm not leaving. The taste is too good."
The root doctor offered bargains, but the demon refused. Finally, with stronger spells and the help of the special sign man, the demon was forced out of Hank and into the other body. It screamed, the trees shook, wind howled, and the creature thrashed violently. At last, it agreed to leave without demanding any payment. The root doctor buried 3 powerful charms around Hank's property and tied 3 more on Hank's wrist, waist, and neck. He warned the family, "Be careful. This thing is angry. It will wait for any chance to strike back." For about a month, everything was peaceful. Randy went back to New Orleans. Then, one morning, some locals walking past a bamboo thicket near Hank's Hollow found the most horrific sight imaginable. Hank and his entire family had been brutally murdered. Their bodies were slashed apart and hung from the sharp bamboo stalks like meat on hooks. Heads, arms, and legs scattered everywhere. It was pure nightmare. Randy was called home. He broke down crying over what was left of his family. They were buried according to custom. That same night, around 3 in the morning, Randy was staying at a friend's house. He and his friend heard Hank and his wife's voices calling from the porch. "Randy, Randy, open the door, son, we're home." The friend whispered, "Don't open it." The voices kept calling over and over. Stones were thrown at the roof, and it went on until dawn. After the morning prayer call, Randy stepped outside and was never seen again. Later, a big flood came and washed away the family's graves. After that, the horrors around Hank's Hollow got even worse. Even today, in 2026, hardly anyone lives near that hollow. The fields around it are still worked, especially the big open patch locals call Black Bottom Field, right beside Bayou Noir. Kids used to play football there in the afternoons. One day, a group of boys, including 2 we'll call Ryan and Faisal, were playing. They lost track of time, and suddenly it was almost dark. Someone kicked the ball hard, and it flew into the bayou. Ryan and Faisal swam out to get it. They were racing each other, laughing, until the ball drifted near an old, twisted cypress tree everyone said was cursed.
Fishermen had seen terrible things near that tree at night. Suddenly, the ball stopped moving against the current. Ryan swam closer, and something yanked him straight underwater. Faisal thought he was joking at first, but Ryan didn't come up. Then the same invisible force grabbed Faisal too. 6 more boys jumped in to help, and every single one vanished the same way.
The ones left on shore ran screaming for help. Divers and nets were brought, but no bodies were found at first. Later, the bodies floated up, not where they drowned, but downstream near the old landing. Every boy had been decapitated, heads separated from bodies, and the smell was so bad no one could get close. They were buried quickly. After that, the whole area was declared off-limits for fishing, but people still talked about it at the local cafe in Miller's Landing. Years passed, the fear faded. Then, just before winter, when the fish were running thick, a few stubborn fishermen decided the ban was just old superstition. 4 or 5 boats went out together. That night, the bayou demons struck again. One boatman heard a voice calling, "Hey, over here! Biggest catfish you ever seen!" Some saw the demon as a monster. Others saw it as a familiar fisherman. The boats drifted toward Hank's Hollow. 2 men stepped off and started fighting each other like animals, biting, tearing flesh, climbing trees, acting like zombies. The 3rd man watched from his boat in frozen terror. He felt something stab him in the back with a fishing gaff. That shock let him break free. He tried to row away, but an invisible force held the boat. He passed out. The other fisherman found his boat floating with him unconscious. The 2 men were never seen alive again. Later, that same survivor was found dead in his yard with no wounds. The demon had finally taken him. More deaths followed. A farmer and his teenage son went to water their field at night with an old pump. The boy went home alone. The father was found the next morning hanging from a tree in Hank's Hollow, his right leg eaten clean from the knee down, body drained of blood like a dry husk. He was buried in the open field nearby. Then a child accidentally stepped on one of those graves while playing. His leg was torn off at the knee instantly. He died screaming on the spot and was buried there too. People started avoiding the paths near the graves. Yet one man walking home from the store was called by 2 figures he thought were relatives. He followed them and was found the next day with the same leg eaten away, dead on the roadside.
Finally, a traveling preacher who stayed in different houses came through at night. Near the graves, he saw 2 men playing a violent game like cockfighting, but with their own bodies. They challenged him to join. The preacher prayed hard until they vanished. He ran without looking back. After that, the local preachers dug up the improperly buried bodies, washed them properly, and reburied them with full rites. The killings finally stopped, for a while. Then came the story of Uncle Khalil in 2013. Khalil was a passionate fisherman who lived near Crawford Bayou. One cold winter night, someone called his name from outside. "Khalil, Khalil." He grabbed his gear and flashlight and stepped out. His wife never woke up. The caller was far ahead, walking fast. Khalil kept shouting for him to wait. Finally, the figure told him to turn off the light. When Khalil shone the flashlight on the man's feet, he saw the feet were turned backward, heels facing forward. Terrified, but pretending everything was normal, Khalil slowly backed away, then ran home, locked the door, and hid under the blankets, shaking. The voice outside laughed, a deep, drum-like laugh, and said, "You got lucky tonight, Khalil. Otherwise, I would have ended your fishing days forever." The next morning, he told his wife everything and swore he would never fish at night again. Uncle Khalil is still alive today. The very last incident happened in 2016 at a small mosque and Quran school just up the road from Hanks Hollow. One bright young student, curious about the stories, snuck over to the hollow during the day. He didn't come back. 3 days later, the teachers and search party found him sitting peacefully under a big tree, eyes wide open, not blinking once. When they touched him, he was burning with fever, collapsed unconscious, and was carried back. When he woke up, he only said, "Let me go. I need to climb that big tree." No prayers or medicine worked. A few days later, he hanged himself in his own room with a plastic rope, the same kind used to tie boxes. It was heartbreaking. That was the last known death connected to Hanks Hollow. Dear listeners, everything we just shared is true according to the people who lived it. Hanks Hollow is a real place in rural Louisiana that still carries an evil reputation. Even in 2026, locals warned their kids to stay away. For 10 years after 2016, things were quiet, but evil like that doesn't just disappear. It waits, it prepares. So if you ever find yourself near an old abandoned fishing shack beside a dark bayou, remember these stories. Don't go in alone. Don't ignore the warnings. Some places were never meant for us. May God protect us all. Dear listeners, that's it for today's episode. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.